911, let out.
There's something routine about driving.
There's a van broken down on the Buckman Bridge.
Until distractions
There's a car on fire.
get in the way.
She was looking around, and I could hear it in her voice. She was she was in a panic because all the kids were in the truck with her.
The family Tahoe stalled on the Buckman, cars zooming by. Wife Yakel and kids Traquise, Tredasia, and Travion inside.
She said that there was a big truck coming, and probably about 5 to 10 seconds after that, I heard the impact. To hear all that over a phone, I could still visualize it. I could imagine what was happening. It was, to say the least, it was very disturbing to hear that, the crushing of metal and voices entangled in that noise. I stayed on the phone until as long as I could, and then finally lost service. It was just static.
Static. And then canceled.
Are you currently there?
It was just my instinct to, knock on people's windows, get out the car and knock on people's windows to see if they would move out of our way so that I can get to my family.
Gridlock kept Cole Glazier from the scene. Reality kept him from his family. Before the Tahoe was hit, an initial Florida Highway Patrol report says this semi failed to slow, and nobody knows why.
The rear seats were pushed up to the front seats, and the front seats were broken back from the impact.
Attorney Joe Camerlengo took us to see what still remains of the Tahoe. The fire was so hot,
Fiercely burning fire.
personal effects like this shoe melted to the car's frame.
The jeans that you see here would have been Tredasia, who was sitting in this seat right here.
Camerlengo's filed a lawsuit against the truck driver and the trucking company, Suntech Transport Group. U.S. Department of Transportation records we found show the company's had 23 violations for unsafe driving in the past 2 years. Almost half of those for speeding and failing to obey traffic control devices. They've also had 106 hours of service violations, meaning drivers were on the road too long or didn't keep an accurate log of their hours behind the wheel.
When I climbed up into the cab of the truck, the cruise control switch was still on. There were also wireless routers underneath the dash on the passenger side.
The lawsuit says that caused a distraction for the truck driver, although no reports indicate those factors led to the crash. Investigators say the semi hit a Nissan Murano and pushed it out of the way before crashing into the back of the Tahoe.
Black smoke, truck on fire. It was unbelievable.
Both Cole Glazier and Camerlengo want a system installed on every semi across the country they say would help prevent crashes like this one that happened on the Buckman. Earlier this year, the National Transportation Safety Board released this report saying the technology could have mitigated or possibly even prevented many rear-end crashes. Across the country, large trucks and buses are involved in almost 10% of all traffic fatalities, according to the most recent data available. That's just higher than the rates in Florida, which hover between 7 and 8% over the last 5 years. The NTSB report recommends installing the technology in all commercial vehicles, including semis.
For $500, there would have been an audible alarm to the driver. For $5,000, it would have stopped the truck before an impact.
He's traveled the Buckman since the crash. Stains from his family's final moments still show on the guardrail.
I wasn't forced. I actually did it on my own, just for a closure standpoint.
Now that closures come, he wants to create a distraction of his own.
Our goal one day is to take this and go to Congress and put this right in front of it on a flatbed and make them walk past it every day and say, you're saying we don't need this.
They potentially could save a lot of lives.